Overnight, Russia launched a deadly drone and missile assault on Kyiv, killing one and wounding at least 7 others. Explosions rocked residential areas as Ukraine's air defenses struggled to intercept the attack. Watch the full video for on-the-ground footage, Ukraine's response, and what this strike signals for the next phase of the war.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a city under siege. And not just, for an hour or two. We're talking about an entire night. Facing this, this unprecedented barrage from the sky.
Yep.
That's really what our sources are plunging us into today. Our mission here on the deep dive, it's about going beyond those quick headlines. We want to sift through the raw details of this single intense event to really pull out what matters. We're aiming to understand the unvarnished facts, the immediate impacts, and what these specific details really signify just based on the information we actually have in front of us. This isn't about painting with a broad brush. It's a laser focus on one pivotal, frankly terrifying night.
Yeah, and what's really revealing, I think, is how succinctly these reports capture it. We're looking at excerpts, mainly focusing on this one significant coordinated strike on Kyiv, and they just capture the sheer intensity of that single overnight event. It's like a snapshot, isn't it? A very specific high-stakes moment. Gives us a crucial window into, the dynamics of modern urban air warfare. The source material, it's focused, yes, but there's enough detail there for us to really dig deep into the mechanics and the immediate consequences of such a sophisticated assault.
Right. And what you, the listener, can expect from this deep dive is a clear, detailed breakdown. We're going beyond just the numbers. We're going to look at the sheer scale of the attack, the immediate human and material cost, and then, crucially, the pretty remarkable effectiveness of the defense. All of this drawn directly from the information we've got. So we really encourage you to, actively engage with these facts as we lay them out. Think about the implications right alongside us. Okay, so let's start. Let's dissect the anatomy of this extraordinary overnight attack. So the sources, they immediately hit us with the core detail. This wasn't random, not at all. This was a coordinated Russian assault. Planned, it seems, and unfolding over the course of an entire night. That word coordinated, it immediately tells us something profound, doesn't it, about the attacker's intent?
It really does. It suggests more than just causing damage randomly. It points towards deliberate attempts to achieve specific, maybe strategic objectives through synchronized efforts.
Exactly. This wasn't just one missile fired off. The sources hint at this kind of complex ballet, if you will, of different types of munitions, timed, perhaps, to saturate different air defense layers all at once. It speaks to a level of tactical sophistication, doesn't it?
Sure.
Aimed not just at hitting targets, but actively overwhelming the defense itself.
That point about coordination is fascinating because if we, connect this to the bigger picture, it implies a strategic goal way beyond just random destruction. A coordinated strike like the one described, it needs extensive intelligence, doesn't it, to find the targets? It needs precise timing, maybe across multiple launch sites, and sophisticated command and control to make sure everything hits either together or in rapid sequence.
Wow, the resources involved.
Exactly. Think about the planning. It's an attempt to maximize the impact or maybe just swamp the defenses through these synchronized efforts. The reports really suggest an attack designed to create this complex, multi-layered threat. Something that can saturate the air defense systems, force them into difficult choices about what to shoot down first.
Right. Prioritization must be incredibly difficult.
It must be. You could have waves of different munitions, each doing a different job within the overall plan. Maybe some are just probes or decoys initially, followed by the ones intended for the really critical strikes. So the objective isn't just hitting things. It's doing it in a way that exhausts the defender's resources and creates this environment of sustained chaos and fear, really testing the city's ability to withstand that prolonged pressure.
And then there's the timing. The sources say it hit Kyiv overnight. That's not just about surprise, is it? It must uniquely challenge the air defense. Limits visual tracking, I imagine.
Absolutely. It forces systems to rely entirely on sensors, radar, infrared, that kind of thing. And it definitely amplifies the psychological toll. People trying to sleep, feeling vulnerable.
Yeah, the cover of darkness, it's a tactical advantage for the attacker. Makes it much harder for defenders to visually track things, especially maybe slower drones, and for people on the ground to react quickly.
It forces the city to run its defenses under the toughest conditions. Low visibility, most people exposed. Choosing to strike overnight is in itself a deliberate tactical choice, designed to maximize disruption, maximize fear, while maybe minimizing engagement with, say, daytime city life or troop movements.
It turns the night, normally a time for rest, into this period of, well, acute danger and anxiety for everyone.
Precisely. Transforms the very feeling of safety.
Okay, now let's get into the numbers, because this is where the sheer scale becomes, well, deeply concerning. Our sources detail a barrage of over 400 drones and 24 missiles. These aren't just abstract figures, are they? That represents an immense amount of incoming ordnance, just a truly unprecedented volume aimed at one city in one night.
It's staggering.
Yeah, that sheer quantity, it speaks volumes about the attackers' resources and, their intent to overwhelm and inflict widespread damage. It paints this stark picture of a deliberate, sustained assault, designed to push any defense system to its absolute limit, challenging not just the tech, but the operational endurance, too.
And it raises that critical question, doesn't it? What's the strategic thinking behind deploying such an astonishing number of drones alongside a pretty significant volley of missiles? It points to a highly sophisticated, multi-layered approach, aiming to maximize impact, complicate the defense.
So like a dual strategy.
It seems like it. The sources imply that. First, you have the over 400 drones. Now, these are likely, the Shahed 136 type, the Durantus.
Yeah.
They're relatively cheap to make and deploy, especially compared to precision missiles.
Right.
So by sending such a massive number, the attacker can essentially saturate the defensive airspace. These drones, they fly low, they fly slow. They're designed to force the air defenses to use up their much more expensive interceptor missiles against these cheaper threats.
So it's about attrition, draining their resources.
Exactly. It's often called attrition warfare, or sometimes a swarm attack. The goal is to deplete the defender's limited supply of those high-value interceptors, and that potentially creates windows, gaps for the more destructive, more precise missiles to get through later on. Plus, drones can do other things too, maybe reconnaissance, probing defenses, or just causing widespread panic over a large area, even if they aren't super accurate.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the 24 missiles, that's a whole different level of threat.
Entirely different, yeah. These could be anything, really. Various cruise missiles, maybe calibers, they fly low, hug the terrain, or potentially more challenging ballistic missiles. Things like the Kinzhal, maybe, which is hypersonic, complex trajectory, incredibly hard to intercept.
Hypersonic.
Missiles are generally faster, much more accurate, and they carry significantly larger warheads. So they're suited for hitting specific high-value targets with immense destructive power.
Like what kind of targets?
Could be critical infrastructure power plants, communication hubs, could be military sites, government buildings. Including them in this coordinated strike suggests that beyond the general disruption from the drones, there were specific strategic things the attacker really wanted to hit hard.
So it's this combination, the slow, numerous, cheaper drones mixed with the fast, precise, expensive missiles.
Precisely. And that creates an extraordinarily complex challenge for the air defense. It demands rapid identification, real-time threat prioritization, and effective engagement across multiple threat types at the same time. It pushes even the most advanced systems right to their limits.
So let's think about the operational reality then. What does this actually mean for the city trying to defend itself? That's just an almost unfathomable amount of incoming stuff to manage simultaneously. Can you imagine the command centers, radar operators, air defense crews, intel analysts working at breakneck speed?
Under immense sustained pressure.
Right. Trying to identify, track, engage hundreds of objects in the sky. Trying to tell the difference between, a civilian plane, a friendly drone, and hostile threats, all while everything's happening at once.
It demands incredibly rapid decision-making.
Yeah.
With basically zero room for error, because every single one that gets through could hit a civilian area.
The psychological toll on the defenders themselves.
Yeah.
Knowing lives depend on their precision, their endurance all night long must be immense.
Absolutely. And beyond the human factor, think about the logistics. Just keeping everything running, constantly resupplying those interceptor missiles during such a long, high-volume attack.
Yeah, it's not just about the fancy tech, is it? It's profoundly about the people, the endurance, the precision required from those defenders facing this overwhelming, multifaceted attack.
It really is.
Okay, while we're deep in the tactics and the raw numbers, it's absolutely crucial we ground ourselves. The direct, heartbreaking reality of this event. Our sources confirm 1 life tragically lost and 7 individuals wounded. These aren't just statistics. They're families devastated, lives changed forever, individuals suffering, profound physical and emotional trauma. And yet, despite the massive scale, over 400 drones, 24 missiles, that number of casualties, while still incredibly tragic, is relatively low, which speaks volumes, I think, about the city's resilience and, as we'll get into, the effectiveness of its defenses.
It does, but it's still a stark, painful reminder, isn't it, that even a highly successful defense can't completely negate the risk to human life when that much ordnance is thrown at a dense urban area.
Absolutely.
Even with a defense that, as the source says, intercepted the vast majority of threats, any loss of life, any injury, it just underscores the inherent indiscriminate nature of these attacks when they hit civilian areas. It reminds us of the constant danger people are living under day in, day out.
Yeah.
The fact that anyone was killed or injured, despite that high interception rate, it highlights how vulnerable civilians are. Even a tiny percentage getting through in an attack this big can lead to severe, tragic outcomes. And this also speaks to the insidious psychological warfare element, too.
Oh, so?
Well, imagine the widespread anxiety. A city isn't just mourning one loss. It's a place where thousands wake up to the sound of explosions, where that basic sense of safety is just eroded, where a peaceful night's sleep becomes a luxury. That pervasive fear, even for those who weren't physically hit, that's a significant, often unquantifiable toll on the community's resilience. It makes the abstract idea of conflict painfully real.
It really forces you to pause, doesn't it? Imagine waking up to news like that in your own city. 1 person dead, 7 injured. It's such a stark reminder of the very real, personal, human stakes involved. It's not just about, smashed buildings. It's about the fear that just permeates daily life, the constant worry for loved ones commuting, at school, just at home, the disruption to that fundamental sense of security we rely on.
Mm-hmm. That single loss, those 7 injuries, they represent the collective trauma of an entire population living under that shadow. And beyond the immediate physical harm, there's the long-term psychological burden for residents, the strain on mental health services, the subtle ways people change their behavior adapting to living in this constant state of high alert. It's a profound ongoing cost that often gets lost in the raw data of attacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so beyond the human cost, our sources also paint this vivid picture of widespread physical damage. Across the city, we're talking about fires erupting across multiple districts. So this wasn't just one localized hit. It strongly suggests a broad, dispersed impact, which is entirely consistent with that idea of a coordinated attack designed to spread chaos, spread destruction as widely as possible.
Exactly.
And the report specifically mentioned damage to shops, homes, and a metro station. That range of targets, it gives us crucial insight, doesn't it, into the nature of the assault, its intended effects. It's not just military sites being hit. It's the very fabric of civilian life, where people work, live, commute.
And this really does raise an important question about the attacker's thinking, their rationale behind those targets. Hitting shops and homes, that speaks directly to disrupting civilian life, causing terror, undermining morale. These are targets with no direct military value, right? So their main purpose seems primarily psychological, forcing people into constant alert, disrupting their ability to live normally.
But the metro station, that feels different.
It does. That implies targeting essential urban infrastructure, aiming to disrupt transport, public services, maybe even the city's emergency response capabilities. And the fact that the damage was spread across multiple districts suggests a deliberate dispersal, possibly aimed at overwhelming emergency services by creating simultaneous crises all over the city.
Right, stretching them thin.
Precisely. Fires breaking out in different places would stretch firefighting resources thin, delay response times, potentially letting smaller fires grow into much bigger, more destructive ones.
And the metro station specifically. What's the significance there?
Well, that's particularly significant, I think. It reveals perhaps a deeper layer of intent. Metro systems in big cities like Kyiv, they aren't just for transport. They often double as vital bomb shelters during air raids. Thousands of people take refuge there.
Right. Of course.
So targeting a metro station could have multiple objectives. Disrupt critical public transport, yes. Demonstrate the ability to hit even supposedly secure locations, maybe. And, most disturbingly perhaps, further terrorize civilians by threatening their perceived places of safety.
Wow, that's chilling.
It's an attack on the city's veins, really. It's lifeblood, aiming to paralyze daily functioning and sow deeper fear. And beyond the immediate structural damage, you get cascading effects. Power outages might affect water, communications, disrupted transport hinders emergency response, general movement. The nature of these targets, homes, shops, public transit, clearly indicates a strategy of urban disruption and psychological warfare alongside whatever military objective there might have been. It highlights how comprehensive the assault was.
So looking at the immediate aftermath described in the sources, what does this all mean for the city on the ground? Imagine the sheer chaos. Emergency services stretched to their absolute limits, all trying to deal with multiple fires, widespread damage across a large area, all at once.
The logistical challenges would be immense.
Yeah, firefighters racing between districts, medical teams treating the injured, rescue workers maybe searching rubble, utility crews trying to fix power lines or water mains, all while the threat of more attacks is still hanging over them.
It creates this debilitating domino effect of disruption, affecting everything: traffic, communication, public health, basic city services. The immediate priority is obviously saving lives, containing the damage. But the recovery process, even from just one night like this, would be long, resource-intensive, incredibly costly, affecting thousands of lives, thousands of livelihoods. The reports implicitly suggest the city's resilience is immediately tested, its ability to coordinate and respond effectively to such widespread devastation.
Right. Okay, but here's where we find that crucial, maybe even astonishing counterpoint. Counterpoint to the raw intensity, the overwhelming scale of the attack. Kyiv's defenses. Our sources tell us quite definitively they intercepted the majority of the attack. Now, in the face of over 400 drones and 24 missiles, that is an absolutely incredible feat of modern air defense.
It really is remarkable.
It speaks to a highly advanced, exceptionally well-trained, and incredibly responsive air defense system, one that was clearly prepared for this kind of onslaught. It means, despite the sheer volume, the different types, the coordinated nature of the threats, the defenders managed to identify, track, and neutralize the overwhelming proportion of them before they hit their targets. This detail isn't just a side note. It's central to understanding the story here, the resilience, the adaptation.
And what's truly fascinating is that specific word, majority. It indicates a highly effective system, yes, but not a perfectly impermeable one, obviously. But still, to intercept such a diverse and large-scale attack, it speaks to significant technological capability and operational readiness. That goes beyond basic missile defense.
What do you mean beyond basic?
Well, when you're managing 400 drone signatures alongside 24 fast-moving missiles, it requires a really sophisticated radar network, not just to track, but to instantly differentiate the threat profiles, to tell the difference between those slow, low Shahid-style drones and the high-speed cruise or ballistic missiles, like maybe Kinzhal's. That demands an incredible level of target discrimination and real-time threat prioritization.
So different systems for different threats.
Almost certainly. It points to a layered defense system, where you have different types of interceptors deployed against different threats, maybe long-range systems like Patriot or S-300 dealing with the high-altitude missiles, while shorter range, often mobile systems, NASAMS, IRIS-T, Gepboards perhaps, are positioned strategically to hit the swarming drones lower down. That level of coordination, real-time data analysis, rapid targeting, firing across multiple defense batteries, often in a dense city, it highlights a genuinely adaptive and formidable shield. And furthermore, this also speaks to ongoing adaptation, doesn't it? Lessons learned by Kyiv's defenses. They're clearly not static. They're evolving, integrating new tech, refining tactics to counter these increasingly complex, large-scale assaults. The success suggests seamless integration between different defense layers, systems working together, sharing data, creating this protective dome, the capability to consistently hit such high interception rates against varied, numerous threats. It's a testament to both the cutting-edge tech they've acquired and the exceptional skill and readiness of the people operating it. It's not just a system, it's a dynamic, intelligent operational network, identifying patterns, adjusting strategies on the fly, using resources efficiently. It shows impressive defensive ingenuity.
So this remarkable success in interception, what does it mean for the city's overall ability to protect itself? I mean, this wasn't just a few incoming threats, it was hundreds. Intercepting the majority, that's a testament to immense effort, huge investment, ongoing training.
Definitely. It suggests a city that's not only determined to defend itself, but is getting increasingly good at it, leveraging both its own capabilities and international support. This level of defensive success provides a crucial, tangible layer of protection. It allows the city to keep functioning, helps the economy limp forward, even under constant threat.
It must foster some confidence among residents, too.
I'd think so.
Yeah.
Enabling them to return to some semblance of normalcy, knowing their defenders are working effectively. But, it's also a constant demanding struggle, requires continuous resupply, rapid adaptation against an evolving adversary. Sustaining this level of defense is just as critical as the initial success. It's a perpetual high-stakes battle.
Yeah.
And while that interception rate is profoundly impressive, it does raise a critical underlying question. You can infer the enormous expenditure of defensive resources needed to counter such a massive barrage. It's a testament to their capability, yes, but it also starkly highlights the ongoing resource challenge.
Meaning the cost.
Exactly. Every intercepted drone or missile means an interceptor missile was fired. And those interceptors, especially the ones for high-speed missiles, are often significantly more expensive than the drones they shoot down. This creates an economic imbalance, doesn't it? A kind of attrition warfare where the defender spends high-value assets on low-value threats, potentially draining their arsenals over time.
So sustainability is key.
Absolutely crucial. The sustainability of this defense hinges on a steady, continuous supply of these costly munitions, often from international partners. Without that unwavering external support, that robust supply chain, even the best air defense system could eventually risk being overwhelmed by sheer attrition, despite its skill.
And this brings us right back to that stark, inescapable reality. Even with the majority intercepted, the few that got through, they led to tragic, tangible consequences. 1 person killed, 7 injured, fires across multiple districts. It really underscores the razor's edge these situations exist on.
The margin for error is incredibly thin.
Yeah. A high interception rate prevents catastrophe, sure, but it doesn't eliminate the risk completely. Every single penetration carries the potential for human tragedy, significant damage. It reminds us that even with remarkable tech success, the human cost is never zero.
Which means, despite the successes, the city and its people live with this constant acute level of danger, where the efficiency of a tech system directly translates into lives saved or lost. It's a continuous high-stakes battle. Every single incoming threat has to be taken seriously, no matter how many were stopped before it. And the pervasive psychological burden of that persistent threat, even with strong defenses, you just can't overstate it.
Right.
So if we try to connect this to the broader picture, this report paints a vivid, essential picture. Persistent, large-scale attacks, countered by determined, increasingly capable defenses. It's a dynamic, dangerous environment. The aggressor keeps trying new ways to get through. The defender keeps adapting to stop them. This isn't static. It's an evolving tech and tactical chess match played out over a major city night after night.
A microcosm of resilience.
Exactly. This incident, as detailed in the sources, it's a microcosm of profound resilience under immense pressure. It highlights the constant insidious threat, but also the continuous adaptation, the human ingenuity, the effectiveness of the defenses. It shows a city under immense strain, yet one that's developed sophisticated ways to withstand and mitigate the impact, even if imperfectly, showcasing an incredible capacity for endurance and operational evolution.
Okay. After unpacking all those intricate details, the numbers, the munitions, the damage, the truly remarkable defense, what stands out to you, the listener, about this deep dive? For me, it's the sheer audacity and strategic complexity of the attack, that overwhelming volume, contrasted so sharply with the demonstrable competence, the adaptive ingenuity of the city's air defenses. It's a powerful testament, isn't it, to both the destructive power being used and the incredible human and tech effort needed to counter it. It really makes you reflect on the daily reality of living somewhere like that, where calm can be shattered by a barrage like this at any moment, and the strength needed just to keep going.
And this incident, as detailed in our sources, it really is a compelling microcosm. Resilience facing immense, unrelenting pressure. It highlights the constant threat, yes, but equally, the continuous adaptation and that surprising effectiveness of the defenses. It reveals a critical aspect of modern conflict. Sophisticated tech offense meeting robust human ingenuity and unwavering resolve. The ability to sustain such a high interception rate against that kind of assault speaks volumes about commitment, ongoing support, infrastructure, rapid learning, and the human capital involved. It's not just one night. It's about the systems and people allowing that high-level response repeatedly. A dynamic interplay showing that even amidst a massive assault, effective counter strategies can mitigate much of the intended destruction, preserve some semblance of normalcy.
So what does this all mean for understanding the tangible reality on the ground? It's this profound mix, isn't it? Immense destructive power and incredible defensive ingenuity. A constant high-stakes struggle. Every interception of victory, every penetration of tragedy. This deep dive, hopefully, has let us move past general news reports and really grasp the specifics. The mechanics, the consequences, the response. It paints a detailed picture of a city under siege, yes, but maybe more importantly, a city actively, effectively resisting that siege night after night, demonstrating a profound capacity to adapt and endure. So, To recap, we've unpacked an intense overnight. We saw the sheer, almost unthinkable scale of the attack: over 400 drones, 24 missiles. We acknowledged the tragic human cost: 1 killed, 7 injured. And the widespread material damage: shops, homes, a critical metro station hit. But crucially, and perhaps most strikingly, we also saw the remarkable effectiveness of Kyiv's defenses, intercepting the overwhelming majority of it. This deep dive aimed to give you a detailed, nuanced understanding, moving beyond headlines to grasp the specifics of that night and its implications.
And this all raises, I think, an important question for you, the listener, to consider. What does it truly take for a city and for its people to endure and continue functioning when faced with such an unrelenting, technologically advanced level of sustained overnight pressure? Think about the compounding psychological toll, the immense economic cost, the sheer human resilience required to live, to persevere under those conditions night after night. Knowing that despite the best defenses, threats can, and sometimes do, still break through, inflicting damage and suffering.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you feel a little more well-informed and perhaps a lot more thoughtful about the intricate complexities of what our sources reveal.
Thanks for watching Global Mind News. If you found this report helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We bring you the facts, insights, and updates that matter, straight from the source. See you in the next report.